All right, it's the final here in Sacramento, 115-107. The Memphis Grizzlies behind a Wilt Chamberlain-like performance from Zach Edey. 32 points, 17 rebounds, 5 block shots. They get the win tonight, 115-107. You're watching Soda Kings Postgame Live. Kyle Draper, Morgan Ragan, Deuce Mason. All right, guys, we're going to hear from the players and coaches coming up in just a minute. Obviously, it seemed like too much Zach Edey. That's what I saw. Morgan, I'll start with you. What did you think tonight?
A lot of Zach Edey, right? I mean, you were talking about 32 points, 17 rebounds, how many blocks, 5. He was doing everything on both ends of the floor. And I thought the Kings did a better job in that first half, especially defensively, the way that they were rotating over, just making life a little bit more difficult for him. But you see the physicality just go less and less as the game kept going on. And if you're not putting on that perimeter pressure, you're not putting on the same pressure underneath, this is what the score is going to be.
What you got, Deuce?
My key was pick and roll coverage. They got killed in the first game in Memphis, this game too. I mean, that's what they just went to over and over again. There wasn't anything exotic about what Memphis did. They just know they got a 7'4" guy right now, and the Kings are not very big at all.
Right.
So if that big is up on the guard in those pick and roll situations, the back line has to be there to tag up or hit Edey. You can't allow him to get deep post position. He is such a strong guy, and it was a dominant performance.
You know what, I mean, this might be one where we got to say, the dude's just too big. We are undersized. Yeah. Keegan Murray, Max Reynaud,
too
we
small.
don't have it. I mean, we might not have the personnel to stop Zach Edey.
Oh, I agree, but the one thing you can't do is be more physical. But I'm with you. I mean, size is an issue with this team. We saw it all year long. And when you see they're throwing up lineups with him and Jaren Jackson out there, and Aldama at times, we're talking about 3
7-footers.
Three of those.
Easily,
And so that's the challenge. And Edey was absolutely dominant. I mean, Zach Edey has changed things for Memphis since returning from injury.
Yeah.
He's been playing some really good basketball, and the Kings had no answer.
Yeah, they're 5-3 with Zach Edey in the lineup. Let's go to the crunch time tape. Shows you exactly how this wound up out here. Zach Edey, he got things started and he got things ending out here. 108-103 after this bucket. I mean, somebody got to crack back on him down there, got to be some help. Off the steal, Keegan Murray, he would get fouled. We make a free throw. So the Kings free throws, we could talk about that too coming up in just a little bit. Cedric Coward going all the way to the cup. Max tried to contest, wasn't there. Then the other end right here, Max Reynaud, he gets hammered. He gets to the foul line. But then this play right here, Coward hitting the deck and looking like Magic Johnson right there. But somehow he found Zach Edey with the bucket, 112-105. And then you see Max there with the little push shot, if you will. 113-107 at this point. But Zach Edey, 5 block shots. That one right there, that sealed the deal. And Memphis beat Sacramento for the second time, 115-107. Let's stay with what we just saw in terms of defense, Morgan, to Deuce's point. How much of it is somebody got to crack back, hit the dude, because I thought they were trying to be physical, but not enough, right? You got to take it up another level to Deuce's point.
So true. And that's the thing. Every matchup in the NBA is not going to be easy for the Sacramento Kings. How many times have we said that? How many games have we said that? And this is just another one of those matchups. So where do you lack things? Oh, size, right?
Yeah.
So then what can you control? Your physicality. It's going back to the simple things, you guys. It's about just making sure that you have that forearm out, that you're stunting whoever's trying to come around a screen, that you are navigating over screens and not coming underneath on shooters. Like all those little things, every possession defensively, Kyle, matters in games like this.
Yeah, Zach Edey, a career night, man. 32 points. 17 rebounds, 5 block shots, only his 8th game back. And we've seen the Kings have issues with starting centers, not as big as Zach Edey before. This is an issue. We got Şengün and Steven Adams coming up on Wednesday. We'll talk about Houston in a minute. I mean, how do we solve this issue here? Like, could they have gone zone, Deuce? Could they have packed the paint? You know, I talked to Katie during the fourth quarter. She's like, they killed us in the three-point line the first game. We're taking away that. Like, how do you defend something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think sprinkling in some zone would help too, but all of it's communication too. Like, if Zach Edey just get to his spots, and even if they were in situations where the big was up more on the guard and the guard was going under, that big was just pushing the guard all the way down into the paint, whether it was Landale or Edey. So that was a challenge too. And then it goes back to your other issue, the size. Like, they don't have it. And the rebounding numbers were staggering in the second half. First half, it was +2 advantage for Memphis.
Right.
You'll take it. You're competing. The bench did outstanding. Second half, +16. +16 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. So, I mean, I think one of the other things I think they could have done, and it was not perfect, again, because you're going small, go to a lineup that's got a little more athleticism. Even if they're smaller guys who could fly around. We didn't see Keon Ellis in the second half.
Yeah.
Nate Clifford got some foul trouble in the second half. That might have hurt him. Same with Max. But go out there with a group that's just going to fly around and cause havoc, come over with interesting double teams, dig at the ball. You have to try some gimmicky stuff when you're an undersized team.
What if I was to push back and say, I agree with you. You know, defensively, they got to be 32. Yeah. But offensively, I don't think we were good tonight offensively, to be honest with you. And a lot of that comes from stops. You got to get stops and everything like that. But 20 points in the fourth quarter, that's not going to get it done out here tonight. I thought offensively, you know, if we didn't get stops, we were very ISO heavy, one-on-one in the half-court sets out there.
Exactly. And it was in that first quarter with the second unit that came in, you guys, and we saw a different game, right? That got the team back into it. And not only were they being active on the defensive end, on the offensive end, they were able to push because they were getting some stops, whatever. But the ball was also flowing in the early offense. You just saw the ball and people connecting on a different level, movement, and that starts to go away whenever the Kings get in these situations like, hey, we can win this game. Right. What do we need to do? Oh, get the ball in Levine's hand. Get it into Demar's hand. It's like, no, keep playing the same game that you were playing when you were playing good basketball.
And the bench didn't play as many minutes in the second half of this game. So that's the other thing. I'm with you on offensively. You know, they didn't take enough threes in the first half. Only took 8. They end up with 27 in the game, but then they couldn't make it. You know, I mean, they're 8 of 27.
Yeah.
So. You know, Zach Edey and his merry friends, you know, they had big games against us, 115, 107. Here are the numbers I want to see. Zach Edey, 32, 17, and 5. Sacramento product, Jalen Wells, 15 points. Cam Spencer, especially in that first half, he was the guy. I mean, he had 16 points, knocked down 4 threes, and it seemed like first half, a lot of him. Second half, I'm going to give Memphis credit, though. Because they went back to the same things. They knew the Kings could not stop the big fella, and they actually fed him tonight. They fed him.
They did a good job of feeding him the basketball, too, and especially like Deuce, you were mentioning the pick and roll earlier, but even right there, just getting on the glass, getting those offensive rebounds, but getting in position. Right there. You talked about crack back, Kyle, and that is when you got to put that forearm into his back, make him feel you. You got to push him a little bit out of the key. I mean, every time we saw Keegan Murray on Jaren Jackson Jr., he did a better job of just keeping him out of the paint. You weren't going to keep Zach Edey out of the paint, but how could you make his life more difficult? I mean, just be a lot more physical with him, make him feel you.
He's a physical guy, too.
Right.
You know, and he's got that personality of being a dog. You got to bark back every once in a while.
Right.
You know, because I was telling Morgan at one point during the game, it's just like because of his size, I mean, it's like it kind of looks like a coach is going up against a player before a game. Just like it's just a man against a boy. It's just crazy to watch.
You know, and I think, you know, and we've seen it, we all basketball fans, we go back a ways. I remember the way teams used to try and defend Shaq.
Oh.
Like he would get beat up down there.
Yes.
I didn't feel like Zach Edey got beat up tonight, right?
That's exactly, Kyle, it's spot on with exactly what you saw, believe what you saw. And I hope that is like Doug Christie's message to these guys. I'm sure it's going to be is that, hey, when someone's in there just feasting, you got to make them feel you, make them think twice. I mean, you all have 6 fouls. When are you going to use them? And I'm not acting like you need to hurt somebody. Remember, violence is not the answer. I am just saying play very physical basketball and make someone really mad at you.
With that said, he took 1 free throw. make him earn it at the line.
Yeah.
You got to be, and he still would have had a good night. I get that. And then, you mentioned.
Damn, he took one free throw?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put him at the line. Make him work,
Yeah.
But you were talking about Cam Spencer, and that's another guy where watching Memphis, all I know, this guy can make threes.
Yep.
You can't go under on screens. In that first half, he scored like 13 points in the first half.
They were going under.
Mistakes they made defensively in those situations. And those details matter so much. They only lost by 8 tonight, but you clean up a couple of things, make a couple of free throws, hit Zach Edey a little bit, you might have a chance to win this game.
Let's move on, guys. Red Hawk Casino and Resort next level, because we got to talk about the bench. The bench for the Sacramento Kings, 46 points, Memphis 43. Good game from the bench. Most of it, though, coming in that first half, Morgan.
Yeah, Malik Monk instantly. He's been making that instant impact as of late, but I love when he has the ball in his hands. Sometimes when they have Zach LaVine bring it up or whoever else bring it up, I'm like, can we get it to Malik? Malik can play make, he can get to the basket, he can get into the paint, and then on the defensive end, he's going to bring that effort and always run the floor.
Yeah, and I liked even what I saw from that first group you were just talking about in the first half, because someone like Nick Clifford showing what he can do defensively. He was shooting with confidence, had that nice Euro step inside, and then he got in the foul trouble. And that's what you look at with rookies sometimes. It's like they have these good moments, but success is not linear. He picks up some fouls in that third quarter, and so he couldn't get as much run. Ultimately, I liked what I saw from that group. And I would have liked to see more Keon Ellis too, because those guys fly around. And I think in today's game, more than ever, you need athletes, versatility, being able to defend, switchability. That group presented that, and they were able to get back in the game because of it.
I'm not going to let you get away with that, Deuce.
Yeah.
Hey, I would like to see Keon 40 minutes. I would like to see Neek 30 minutes. I would like to see Max 40.
Yeah.
You tell me who you taking out, big fella. Because I'm looking at the minutes. DeMar 34, Zach 35.
Yeah.
Where you getting the minutes? Russ only played 20 tonight. Where you getting the minutes
You
from?
dial down minutes. You got to dial down.
Who we talking about?
DeMar DeRozan is
Okay.
37 years old.
Like in an ideal world, yeah.
I would.
And is he a 30-minute per game
Yes.
player?
Give him a
Zach 30? Like that's what I'm
Yeah, I mean, the reality is you're 5-16 now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about, hey, you're trying to win games. Yes, of course you want to compete and win games. This is not winning you games right now. And so, are there opportunities? Doesn't mean I'm saying bench the stars or play those guys 40 minutes a night, but can you find these opportunities, especially when those young guys are doing some good things like we saw in that first quarter stretch. Of course, the game changes, different lineups and all that from the opposing team, but I think there are opportunities to find minutes for these guys and allow them to do their thing and also get them involved and see what they could do in a close game. Like, I would have liked to see Neek late in this game, too, just see what he could do.
It's, and we all on social media.
Yeah.
And people are raising this issue because the Keon Ellis thing, that's a real conversation that needs to, we got to figure out what's going on. But somebody raised a point. In Mike Brown's system, Keon was in and out.
Yeah.
Now Doug. Like, is there something that we're not seeing that maybe the coaches are seeing? That's what we need to find out.
It's
right?
always the question I ask. It's always I always think it's important. That's why, like, obviously they haven't had as many practices where media availability is there, but we have to be there to ask the questions. And Deuce, you asked the question about Neek yesterday, but even with someone like Keon, it's a conversation that we've had multiple times, right? And so if we're not seeing something at practice or they don't like the way that he's picking up, or maybe they're just really nitpicky with him too and they expect more out of him. I don't know what it is, but either way, when I see 6 minutes in a game like this, when you need that perimeter pressure and that activity, can we even make that just 10?
Yeah,
just those things.
I mean, to me, it's simple. They've got a ton of guards. And the second they signed Westbrook and Schroeder, you had Monk, you have all these guys on the team.
Yeah.
Like, it was going to change somebody's role on the team. And his is the one that's been changed. I don't even think he's doing anything wrong out there. I do agree. I don't think he's some perfect player. I'm not suggesting that, hey, man, the Kings' fortunes would be totally different out there. He has some weaknesses, but what I do know is he's got, like, activity. He comes in there and makes winning plays. He can knock down threes. This team is not a good three-point shooting team this year. So if there are opportunities to get him more minutes, I would do that. And, again, they're 5-16. There's opportunity to look at different lineups and to see what works and what doesn't.
All right, we got much more post-game. Sorry to put you on the spot, big fella.
I love this.
I mean, but this is a real conversation. Here's Zach Edey's numbers. The first player. What?
Is it Shaq?
Shaq to reach those numbers on 80 plus field goal percentage in the game. Zach Edey, 32, 17, 5, 16 of 20 shooting, 80% for Zach Edey. We got more post-game live coming up next.
Toyota Kings Postgame Live is presented by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places.